guys, before we get started on today's video, I would like to take a moment to talk about today's video sponsor, LiQWYD. LiQWYD is an energy drink that is loaded with vitamins and nootropics. LiQWYD is a great drink for anyone that wants to focus without jitters or crash. Unlike other energy drinks, LiQWYD prides itself on developing a clean energy formula that is free from fillers, maltodextrin, and artificial colors. Go have a look at everything LiQWYD has to offer. Use the code ERIC666 to get 10% off your purchase. Now, to the video. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. So today we are doing another Am I the Asshole video. I am here with a good buddy of mine, Viking, again.
Hello.
As always, you can find their channel in the link down below in the description. And if you guys enjoy these Am I the Asshole videos, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what your guys' thoughts on what we go over are, and if you guys disagree or agree with us. So we're going to go ahead and get started into it. So I specially picked these ones because they're kind of hilarious.
All right.
Well, this one's kind of but the other one's kind of friggin' funny to me. Okay, so am I the asshole for telling my parents they are not getting money off me so they can spoil my siblings the way they never wanted to spoil me? My parents had me at 27 and 29 respectively. I was their only child for 14 years, and in all the years I was living with them, they never believed in nice things or treating me for any reason. They had the money. My mom was often buying more makeup and shoes, and my dad was into golf, so their money went on their hobbies, and I had basics for everything. Anything I wanted, I was told no. Christmas and birthdays were for practical gifts. School supplies they bought without me because it was basically plain everything, and they didn't want me complaining about wanting a character backpack or a pink pencil or something. I always remember it was really hot one summer, and I was 8 years old, maybe. An ice cream truck stopped in our neighborhood, and all the kids were getting ice cream, so I approached my parents, who were talking to some neighbors, and I asked if I could have the money for one, too. They said no, because ice cream was not an essential, and I could go inside and get some water if I wanted to cool down. A neighbor offered to pay for my ice cream, and my parents put a stop to that as well. I went inside for the rest of the day anyway because I was upset and jealous watching all the other kids eat their ice cream and knowing my parents wouldn't even let someone else buy me one. They started to change after I moved out of home. I noticed when an invite came for my little sister's 5th birthday party, and it was a huge surprise because I never got a birthday party. In the 3 years since they have thrown birthday parties, gone all out for Christmas, they took them on vacation, which I never went on, but my parents did. Then several months ago, my parents realized I was doing well for myself with my art. They asked me to buy my siblings these big gifts for Christmas, and I said no. My parents said they could only get so much, and I shrugged. These were easily $300 to $400 US dollar gifts, each that my parents wanted me to buy. And of course, I was to give the gifts to my parents to give to my siblings. A few days ago, then, my parents asked me for money for stuff for my siblings, and I said no. They said I was being very tight-fisted with my money and to think of how much it would mean to my siblings. This is when I told them they don't get money off me to spoil my siblings the way they refuse to spoil me. My parents said I was being petty and that I was punishing the wrong people. So am I the asshole? So this is kind of a big twister in my opinion, in terms of whether or not you're an asshole, because my opinion on it is I obviously grew up pretty spoiled, but my dad and my mom, they didn't grow up spoiled. In fact, their parents had money, but they didn't want to spoil them, and they didn't want to give them luxuries because they wanted them to learn how to work for their money and how to be self-independent.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
if they were like that with all of their kids, it'd be one thing.
But playing devil's advocate, now you get into the whole idea of, well, now the parents are spoiling this other kid.
As someone that has gone through the situation, watching my siblings get little small things and being told no when I wanted something, if it were all kids, it's one thing, but excluding one kid freaking hurts. It really does.
Yeah.
I was that kid that didn't get, the fun little things. So I get that.
So yeah, it would definitely make sense if you're if you were like the only kid and like they just didn't want you to be spoiled, because there's a lot of parents out there kind of like that. They don't want to spoil their kids because they don't want them being stuck up brats when they get older and thinking that everything is entitled to them.
Right, yeah.
But with this situation, it's obvious that the parents had some sort of favoritism. And whereas, like, my personal preference, if I didn't get a blue pencil or a blue, bag, I would have been fine. But, like, if they're spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on this other kid and they never, like, spent much on you and they're your sibling, that's kind of sketch. I will say that. So
yeah, I have to say that the LOP is not the asshole, because this is what their parent didn't do hardly anything for them. Wouldn't even let neighbors buy them ice cream, but like spend $300 or $400 on your siblings because I want you to. No.
Well,
and like, yes, they are his siblings or their siblings. I don't know OP's pronouns, but they're not their kids. They're your siblings, not your kids. You're not responsible for them. Your parents are.
Well, and something else too is like, I can understand, like, because if you read that first part and you're like, okay, cool, they just didn't spoil you. You're not a spoiled brat. Congratulations.
Yeah.
However, when you read on, you see that the sibling is getting hundreds of dollars, and then they come to you and ask you for,
hundreds
money.
of dollars.
Yeah, money to give to your siblings. That's just ridiculous. Saying they can't afford it. Well, come on now.
Maybe y'all should have been a little bit more stingy with them, like you were with me.
So, do I feel that you're the asshole for saying no? No, I don't think you're the asshole.
I don't think so either.
Do I feel that you should have expected to be spoiled? No, I don't. Because a pink pencil and a regular pencil do the same thing.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they necessarily expected to be spoiled. They're just like, this is how, not at all, like how little they care compared to how much they care about my siblings, what they want. Right. I think it was just more to show like the difference.
Oh, and that's good for them. If not, if they did expect to get spoiled, I think probably you shouldn't expect it, because be grateful for what you do have. I mean, from the way I was raised, if you had a roof over your head and a comfortable bed to sleep in and you had a meal every night, you're fine. So that's just how my outlook was. Yeah, I was spoiled and stuff in my older years, but growing up, my dad was very strict on me, and he taught me the values of having the basics. And he's like, you don't need to have a lot of money to thrive. But the parents, I would say, are a bit of hypocrites. Mm-hmm. They're definitely hypocrites.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's smelly. It don't smell good.
No. And then, so yeah, I agree that you're not an asshole in any regard. And
not the a-hole.
The thing about it is, honestly, I'm glad you said no to them when they asked for money. And you know what? What you should do is take that money, and if you really want to, spend it on your siblings, get them the items your parents said, and give it to the siblings yourself and say it was from you.
To the parents to get them, because they will say it's from them and not you. Like, for you.
Because that will kind of show them, oh, well, okay. Well. And it's funny, too, that right when you're making money with art, all of a sudden, hey, do you want to give us $300, $400?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. So, not the asshole. You're cool. All right, let's move on to the next one. Oh, God. Let's see. I'm going to read them off. You tell me which ones sound interesting since I picked the first one. Okay. Am I the a-hole for making my GF clean the apartment? Am I the a-hole for refusing to not smoke while in the smoking area of a pub because a family was choosing to sit there? Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend I want to spend our date alone with her and not with her sister and nieces? Am I the a-hole for shutting the door in my sister's face after she gave her daughter the same name as my stillborn daughter?
What?
Oh,
that's the one. That's the fucking one. That's the one I...
Okay. Are you guys ready for this?
Trigger warning, just in case.
This is trigger warning. I will let you guys know now. if you guys do have any issues with this, my advice, you can skip to after I read it, and then we can just discuss or something. But
Yeah,
if it gets too bad, I may just go ahead and choose another one,
that's
just
fine. That's
because.
fine.
Okay, so 4 years ago, I, 30 female, lost my daughter Rosie through a stillbirth. It was a huge shock because I went into labor thinking we were going to have a healthy little girl at the end, but she never even took a breath.
Oh,
My husband and I were reeling from the shock. Nobody was sure why it happened either. We'd announced to people that I had gone to give birth, and then we had to notify people that she was gone. I don't remember much from the weeks that followed. I got so depressed, I spent some time in the hospital after my husband grew so concerned about me. Last year, I gave birth to our son, and his arrival was a real turning point for me. I had done all the therapy and healing I could, but having my son helped in a way nothing else could. That's awesome.
that's amazing.
My family were always aware of this. Everyone knew Rosie's name. We'd announced her name at my baby shower, and it was engraved on her urn. My sister announced her pregnancy in February, and I was so excited for her. When she said she was having a girl, she seemed to take that I might struggle hearing that. But I was honestly so happy for her. She never mentioned the name, I never asked. I have always believed something like that is up for the parents to reveal in their own time. I agree. My
Hmm.
niece was born 3 weeks ago. My sister posted the announcement of her arrival with her name Rosemary Rosie. In her post, she declared that baby Rosie would go by Rosie, but they had given her a substantial name because they cared about their daughter's future and how they did not want to stick with her juvenile name as her given name. I read through the whole post in so much shock that I had to read it 2 more times, and I needed to get my husband to read it to see if he read it the same way I did. The post read as being so condescending toward my husband and I, the way she dissed the name Rosie as a full name while also using it, and never even gave me a heads up about it. The post received so much backlash that my sister took it down. Our brother told her she was a effing B and to get rid of the post before my husband or I saw it. I did not acknowledge any of it was happening. I did not reach out to my sister, and she did not reply to text from her. But I did talk to our brother, and I told him I had seen the post, and so had my husband. That we read it several times between us before it was removed. I'm sorry, guys. Bear with me. The people's posts sometimes have typographical errors, and it's hard to keep up with it. I did not acknowledge any of it was happening. I did not reach out to my sister and did not reply to texts from her, but I did talk to our brother, and I told him I had seen the post, and so had my husband. That we read it several times. Okay, did I already read that? I probably already read that. Okay. My sister came by my house on Wednesday. She did not call or text ahead of time. She just showed up and wanted to talk. I told her I had nothing to say to her and shut the door in her face. She rang our doorbell and knocked several times before giving up. She sent me messages afterwards saying I needed to act like an adult and talk to her, and that shutting the door in her face made me a passive-aggressive a-hole. Am I the asshole? No.
I don't think so either. Like, bro, she stole your fucking baby's name. I fucking don't get people that do that. There's so many of these posts I read that, like, yeah, I was gonna have a kid, and I'm gonna name him this, and they died, and then I found out that my siblings naming their kid that. I'm just like, did they ask?
So
No?
my biggest thing on it is like, if you're gonna do that to a family member, at least talk to them beforehand and make sure they're okay with it. Like, I get,
Yeah,
yes,
if
it's
it's
your
like
decision. It's a free country. You have every right to call your baby whatever you want. However, at least be respectful and at least communicate with them and say, "Hey, I really want to call my baby this. It has nothing to do with
yeah.
you. I just really
Or
like
even
the
if it's
name."
like, it's in honor of, like, even if it's
Right.
like, I want to do this in honor of, you still have to ask. And if you're
Right.
told no, don't fucking do it.
And so, definitely, do I think you're the asshole? Not in any regard. I think
No,
you
your
went.
sister's the a-hole in this.
I think you went through something very traumatic, and I think that she capitalized on that,
Yeah. It
and
sounds like she's making a mockery of it.
that's a real screwed up thing to do. And
Yeah, it's not
so,
like, even in the post, it's like, we want to call her Rosemary, so her juvenile name ain't her given name. Like, literally dissing on the name while using it. Like, that's not in honor of, you're just trying to hurt your sister at that point. Are you crazy?
now, however, I do like that you slammed the door on your sister's face. That was kind of funny.
That's not childish. That's putting yourself first.
Right. However, I would definitely like eventually talk to her and see why she did it. because I know that me personally, that would drive me up the wall why she did that.
Right.
And
Just like,
it
what was the reason?
right. Well, and don't get me wrong, like, yeah, it's definitely her fault. She's the asshole, not you. But at the same time, figure out, like, maybe why she did it. It could very well be that she really did do it in honor of it and did not mean to come across condescending.
Yeah, and then
However,
she
again,
needs to
she should
remind her
have
next
talked
time
to
you
you.
need to ask.
Right. She should have talked to you beforehand. So, no, you're not the asshole, but I definitely think it needs to be worked out because something like that goes very deep and can cause a lot of spite and animosity. So, really
I've
sit
seen it
down and
happen to a
talk it
personal
out.
friend too.
Really, really sit down and talk it out with a neutral party, somebody who can kind of be neutral on both sides,
Mm-hmm.
especially because this is such a volatile topic, especially for you personally. So just have somebody who can kind of calm the situation down if it gets out of
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah, definitely
But
need a mediator.
so for both posts, no, I don't think you guys are the assholes. You guys are cool.
Nah.
You guys are good. And
That's a perfectly valid response. Just,
such a sad story too.
I know, it's heartbreaking. I do not understand people who do that. I really don't.
Well, either way, hope things get better. Hope you work it out with your sister. The first poster, I hope you can get it figured out with your parents. They seem like real jerks. So
You don't owe them. You don't owe them money, so don't give them anything.
exactly. And if it's your art, that's your work. You have worked your butt off for that. You don't have to give a single cent to anybody. That is your money. So with that being said, if you guys did enjoy this content, we're going to go ahead and end it here. We're already about at our 16-minute mark, which is pretty awesome.
Nice.
If you guys did enjoy it, go ahead and smash that like, subscribe button. Twittergram, TikTok links are in the description. And hey, go check out our merch store, 10% off if you use the code EARLYBIRD, all caps, no spaces. And I hope you guys have a bear-tastic day.